Thank you, Jennifer. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I'm totally kind of freaking out. Just a little bit. Hi, Candace, my sister. I'm so glad you're here. I'm actually really glad that you're able to be here, Candy, because something special that I wanted to share. So our mom's, mine and Candy's mom, her birthday was yesterday. And I got to thinking, it's hazy and smells like fire. Oh, that's right. You're getting all of our smoke from the wildfires. I'm sorry. Sorry that you're smelling it. Sorry that this is happening, you know. We've been very fortunate so far on our camping trips. We just are missing the wildfires. We'll see if that continues. Oh, you're sneaking of you on your lunch break? Okay. Well, then let me get into it, Candy. So, my mom's birthday was yesterday. And I got to thinking, what could I give for her birthday? And immediately what came to my mind was my grandma. That I should make my mom, for her birthday, grandma's apple strudel. Some of you know my story with Grandma Emma. She passed in February, and she was 100 years old, and she was very much spunky, right, Candy? Spunky and full of life, and then then her body started saying, "I'm really tired. I can't do those things anymore." You know, she's always moving, always cleaning. She's one of those ladies, just never sat down. So we got to, me and the kids, this past year, got to spend a lot of time with her, take care of her, and she was a firecracker. Oh my God. She still is. She's a complete blessing to everyone who met her. Just an inspiration for how she lived and moved through life. 100 years is, she saw a lot. She lived through a lot, and she carried a lot in her, right? In her genetics and how she was raised. Born 2 years after the 1918 pandemic, 2 years after World War I ended. Depression, World War II. I mean, it's a lot. And yet she was always full of energy and just this hope and zest for life. She's really a gift. And as she got older, especially this past year that she was with us, her hearing started getting, it was harder for her to hear, and that made communication, like what I'm doing with you and me, very difficult. And she got really frustrated by it. And she couldn't see as well, so she couldn't read. You know, it was just like her body kind of started shutting down on her. And yet, I didn't know it when I had these two kids. But they gave me a tremendous gift. So Kate and Eric both had language challenges as children, and they still do. We're still working through it. It's a path that we are on. But they didn't understand language, and they didn't talk. Kate didn't start talking until she was 4, and Eric didn't start until he was 5. And yet, one time I had a doctor who asked me about Eric. Even though, I'd gone through this with Kate and tremendous success, just this child who's thriving. He asked me, well, how do you know what he wants about Eric? And I looked at him and I was like, how do I even answer that to you? Because Eric would tell me in 1,000 different ways what he needed, what he was communicating. It was context, it was a situation, it was emotions. I could feel it. It was telepathy at times. And I was like, I just know. Like, I can't explain it to you. And so that was my background growing up with these kids. And then here's my grandma. She's 100 years old. And it was actually right around Halloween. And my cousin came up to visit us as well. And Grandma was she was frustrated. And she was trying to hear and communicate, and I could feel it and I could see it. And I touched her hand, and I told her, you don't need to hear me. You don't need to speak. I know exactly what you want. I know what you are saying. And she kind of looked at me, and I could tell that she understood a bit of what I was saying. And she said, how? And I pointed to Eric, and I said, he taught me. He didn't need words, and I understood him perfectly. And I told her, you don't need words. You don't need to hear. I understand you perfectly. I know, isn't that amazing? Like, I had no idea when I had these kids and we started going on this journey that 7 years later is when I started with the language journey, that I would then be using these gifts, witnessing the same thing with my grandma, right? Here are these children at the beginning of their life learning to talk and not being able to. And here's my grandmother, our elder. She was an elder to everyone who knew her. She insisted on just being called grandma. She was one of those gifts. And I was using the same thing. And wow, it was an eye-opener for me. And it was an eye-opener too, because I had never experienced this aging, this elder process, the end of life before. I hadn't been exposed to it. She was the first closest relative for me, and I'm going to say for my sister too. She can have a different opinion though. That we got to witness passing like this and be with. And it's not talked about in our culture and in society what growing old looks like. And going through this experience and how much it mirrored having infants, right? Having young children who need help, physical help with everything. And I was surprised and I wasn't surprised because it made sense. And yet it's not talked about. It's like our culture, we tuck this truth away about what getting old looks like. That it doesn't always smell good, right? And yet you do it anyway because you have such a love and you want to give, in an elder's case, you want to give back. She changed my diapers. I can absolutely do the same and wash out her clothes the way I did with my children. Body things happen. It stops working. And just the exhaustion when so the kids and I would go up and we would watch her for the weekend so we could give my mom, who is her primary caregiver, a break. You're a nurse, Jennifer. Oh. That is so beautiful for you to say. It's an honor to assist with end-of-life transitions. Sorry, it's a little loud. I've got a big truck going by outside. I wish we would hear more of that. So thank you for saying, truly, thank you for saying that. I'm feeling really called to start sharing more of this experience that I had with my grandma. because it was an honor to witness and to be there and to help her. And it was really fucking hard work. It was exhausting. And we don't talk about that either. We don't talk about the toll that this takes on caregivers. And you know what? Raising babies like infants is really hard. And it is really, really hard for two people to do it on their own. And having gone through that experience, having had my breakdown moments, times where I reached out to relatives that were close by and saying, I really need help. Please help me. I'm at my wit's end. I can't even take a shower. Go to the bathroom by yourself, right? Little things. We're talking little simple things here. Or take a breath. And I was met with like, no, I can't do this for this reason or that reason. And here I am at this end of life with my grandma. This is way too much for one person to do on her own, my mother. This is too much for my dad to support her. Like, it's too much. Like, there were times where I couldn't even sleep. I was upstairs sleeping in my parents' bed because it was big enough for me and the two kids. And I heard her, my grandma, downstairs, making her coffee, doing something in the kitchen. And she had just fallen like the day before. I don't think I've been so scared in my life. I sprang out of bed and I ran downstairs and she was fine. She's just doing her thing like nothing had happened. I'm just like, oh my God, Grandma. Right? Isn't that so like her? She's just like, no, I got it. She had already finished her coffee that she made. Her little instant coffee with the creamer and the sugar she put in. She cleaned it up. And I'm just like, oh, thank God. Oh, thank God you didn't fall. And we hadn't gotten a video camera in her room at that point yet. It hadn't arrived. And I was just like, oh my God, I so desperately need this. And this is me staying with her for just 2 nights. And my poor mom. So I kind of just wanted to come and share some of this with you. To share how hard things are, how beautiful they are, how special. You know, I really got to practice and to be present with her. And it was my kids who really showed me how to do that. Like, I went into a situation already knowing how to help her and hear her. And that was a gift. And another gift, honestly, was my kids being there. The day that she was passing, there's my kids just running around the house, playing, and Eric was in so much just joy. He was just life. And here we were, saying goodbye and being with Grandma, holding her hand. And there's Eric running through the house, butt naked, just continually pulling on my mom's hand, his Grandma Charlie, and getting her to play with him. Just making her laugh, making her smile, and we just got to witness life and death in the exact same moment. It was something else. Thank you, Jennifer. Yes, you watched my journey with Grandma and the parts I shared. I was really blessed too to have people in spaces that could hear me, who wanted to hear me and share in what I was going through. because that helped me move through it with more ease and more grace. And, Grandma's story is continuing. So I'm wearing an apron because I literally just got done with the kitchen and cleaning up the mess that I made because my mom's birthday was yesterday. And she doesn't know I'm doing this. But my grandma had taught me how to make her apple strudel. Everyone who knows Grandma knows about her apple strudels. We would come home from school and there would just be sliced apples in this big old Tupperware bin and just hand slicing them all day with a knife, right? Like old school way of doing everything. And we'd walk in and we would just smell her apple strudels baking in the oven. And that was something that she had taught me how to do. And it's funny, I had this card that she had written for me with just bare stuff, bare ingredients, bare things, right? And yet the first time I made it after she passed, I could hear her in my head, my voice telling me, oh, don't forget to sprinkle sugar on at the end. Don't forget to put slices of butter on. So the first time I smelled it baking in my oven, tears, because she was right there. So as I was thinking, what can I give to my mother for her birthday? I felt Grandma, and I heard her voice in my head saying, make her apple strudel. So I did that. And Mom doesn't know I'm bringing it up to her. And in fact, Grandma was kind of quite insistent that I not bake it here. Now, it's not completely Grandma's recipe because I am using gluten-free flour, so it makes things a little bit different. So I usually have to bake it kind of right away, which is why I had to put it together this morning before I head up to my mom's. But she wanted me to bake it in the oven at my mom's house. My grandma has been coming through so strongly. I don't know if you can feel her candy, but she is around all the time. There's times when I'll just be on my phone and suddenly I'll just swipe to the left and a picture would show up and it's Grandma from a year ago and there's Kate in the background and I'm just like, oh, Grandma. Hi, Grandma. Like, she's giving me messages that she's here. She's having messages come in through my friend Amy, who passes to me. So it's been very special. Very special. So I'm just going to take you on a short tour. Sean's kind of on the phone at work, but he's not talking yet. So I'll take you inside. And I'm going to show you what I made for my mom. Hang on 1 second. I'll turn this light on so you can keep seeing me. Okay. Let me flip this around. This is the apple strudel. Ready to go. Ready to go to my mom's. It's not perfect. I don't think I could ever make it perfect. Certainly not the way Grandma makes it. She was such a whiz at it. Or maybe, honestly, if I had a good, 70, 80, 90 years of practicing, I'd probably be pretty good at it too. You know what? Let me do this too. So some of you watching may not know anything about my grandma. Let me show you a picture of her. It's a little dark over here. I apologize. So this is the very small altar I have set up for Grandma. My place is not huge, but there she is. This picture was taken when Eric was 4 months old. So this is about 6-7 years ago. Eric was 4 months old and Kate was about 2.5. And this was right around the time that I was fighting through my own fears because I had learned that Kate's language was different. There's Grandma back home in Ohio. Grandma loved garden. And there she is on her grass cutter mower. These are the stones that were a gift from my mentor, Athena. I know you can, can't you, Jennifer? She is just such full of life. And then I have one more I'm going to show you. It's over here in my little ancestral spot. And this is my grandma holding my uncle. (1944). And can we just take a look at her shoes? My grandma was actually incredibly fashionable. Thank you so much for hanging out with me and being with me. And I'm going to actually be gifting my mother, can't really see it, this rose quartz palm stone. This was a gift from Mike and Chris at Mostly Minerals, and I had said, I want to give my sister some rose quartz. But Candy, I don't think that one's for you. I think I have another one that's yours that I'm going to be giving you. I think this one's from Mom. Like I said, Grandma's been coming through very strongly with rose quartz for me. So that's just kind of a little bit of thoughts that I wanted to share with you. The apple strudel that I made for my mom for her birthday, from me, from Grandma Emma, and just, again, having some conversations around getting old, our elders, and both the hard and the beauty of that moment, right? Like let's talk about it. Let's talk about what that process is like and witnessing it and being in it. The good, the bad, right? Like, and let's start holding each other up. I just wonder if we can start doing that and having these different conversations, what would our world look like? Right? How would things be? How can we help make those changes for the better? And Grandma certainly gave me an absolute blessing in being able to hold that space for her and to support her through it. Just a true gift. And like I said, she didn't need any words. I know it was frustrating for her, but she didn't need any words because we knew. All of us did. Anyway, thank you so much for just kind of hanging out with me and sharing this experience with me. If you haven't yet, please join, if you're called, my Facebook group, Intuitive Parent Evolution. As you can tell, we're going to be talking about all kinds of stuff, not just about parenting. Oh, thank you, Jennifer. I will enjoy the visit with my mom. I will give you guys an update on how the strudel goes and the smell and my mom's excitement. I'm hoping she'll be excited. But like I said, please join my Facebook group if you like. Go ahead and like my business, my page, Intuitive Parent Evolution. And share, please share this. If this message resonates with you, if there's someone in your life who could use a real conversation like this, to be seen, to be heard, please. I would love to work with you, to work with anyone you know. I'm here, I'm available, and I'm just really grateful that you're here, that you are sharing these messages with me, and we're talking about it. Thank you so much, and I truly hope that you enjoy the start of your week. Oh my gosh, no, wait. Spirit just reminded me there's something I wanted to do. All right. I was being guided to do a reading from this deck before I go. It's so funny how that popped in. As you can tell, I'm outside, super non-professional. There we go. Okay, not falling over now. Okay, so work your light. I was Spirit wants me to do a card read from this deck, so I will. And my crows have just flown over to say hi, and they're cawing like crazy. Just open a quick circle. All right, so this is a card for our collective, for all who are watching, all who would watch later. Message from Spirit, message from our crows. Oh my goodness. Okay. All right. It's going to be a little bit longer than I expected because I had 3 cards that just literally fell out of my lap. So, what do we got here? I've got Answer the Call. It says, what is your soul calling you to do? Priestess. How are you being called to step up and lead? Whew. We all could use some of this. Deep replenishment. Retreat, rest, be held. So I'm going to go ahead and read these from the book, if you would like. If not, you can, you don't have to listen. It's all good. It's funny. I thought I was just going to read like one card and it'd be quick. Guess not. I guess Spirit has a different idea. All right. So this is Answer the Call. Your guidance is divinely guided. You are being called to answer the call of your soul. Do you know what that is? Have you allowed yourself to dare to dream what that could be? It might be scary. It might not make sense. But if you trust your soul's yearnings, you will live a life beyond what your mind could possibly imagine. Crow medicine, right? We got some big messages coming through. I shouldn't be surprised why Spirit was like, no, don't forget. I kind of kept forgetting that yeah. So answering your soul's calling is not a one-time thing, rather a lifelong dance. Deep down, you already know what you long for, what your soul yearns for. And I could just feel my grandma right now. She's just right there. She's coming in too. Maybe it's not even just her. Maybe it's just ancestors in general. That feels right. Whatever you are called to do, that is your calling. Don't overthink it. Don't wait for permission. Just say yes. Most people are waiting for a step-by-step plan before they take the first step. But intuition doesn't work like that. And I'm just like, oh yeah, Here I am starting a business about intuitive parent, being an intuitive person. It's part of the message. I think that's for me as well. Takes faith and courage to answer the calls of your soul. And that's why most people don't do it. But you are not most people. You are exactly the right place to answer your calling now. You don't need to know the whole plan. You don't even need to know where it's leading. You just need to take the next step. That is so beautiful to me. It is so counterculture to what we've been taught, right? It's kind of like ingrained into us. You need to have the whole plan. And that's actually not true at all. If you follow your heart, right, and just ask yourself, what is the next right step? That is a powerful message right there. If you can integrate that into your life, what is your next right step? No one has ever had the complete, perfect plan. There is no end destination. There is no right or wrong way to do it, and you do not need permission from anyone else. Sometimes, the more resistance we have around answering a soul calling, the more important it is to our soul's growth. So, this again is answer the call. And I just got a whole lot of energy coming down through my crown chakra. This feels very important to someone who's watching or who will watch later. Like wow. All right. And the next card that Spirit wanted me to read for you is Priestess. Let me find that in this deck. No, not there. She doesn't have this one numbered, so it's a little harder to, I guess I'll go to the beginning, look for a page number. Let's see. There it is. 46. Okay. How are you being called to step up and lead? The priestess is a teacher dedicated to service, freedom, and leadership. You don't need to have it all together to lead. In fact, it helps if you don't. No one wants a perfect angel who hasn't made any mistakes. Let your life be your message. Don't underestimate the power of sharing your story. Kind of needed that today too for me. It is scary coming up here and sharing my story with you guys. It's by hearing someone else's journey that we feel less alone. We realize that we're actually all in this thing called life together, and that we are all connected. The difference between a follower and a leader is that a leader has the courage to go first. Is there someone else here who's ready to do that with me? To go first, to go lead, to hold out a hand for others, to pull them along, to make that path a little less treacherous and scary to walk. In stepping out, they shine a light on the path for others to venture forward to. Don't fret too much about trying to work out who is your tribe. Don't get stuck in age, income, hobbies, or occupation. The best way to discover your tribe is to look in the mirror. If you feel called to lead, chances are it is because at some point in your life You longed for someone to lead you. And that's why I'm doing Intuitive Parent Evolution, is because I really needed someone to help me along the way. You too, Jennifer. It is scary. And you're being pulled, right, relentlessly. What are you being guided to do? I'd love to know if you want to share. If you want to keep it close right now, totally understand too. Whew, yep. Crown chakra energy. Your tribe are longing for the exact same thing as you were and are, and might only be one step behind you. Hell, they may even be right alongside you. You don't need anyone's permission, just the courage to stand up. Embrace your struggles, the peaks, the troughs. You don't need to know the way. Just believe that there might be a different one. Your tribe is waiting for you. Step forward so they can find you. Find your path, your unique path. Oh, you're being called to start a blog? Share your story. I love that. It's actually not nearly as hard as you might think, but I hope you do. Please do. I would love to know your story. Really, I would. So our last card, deep replenishment. No idea where to start. Overwhelms you. Yeah, when you venture into the website creating world alone, it's kind of, what the hell? What do we do? Oh my God. WordPress. Hi, Daphne. I'm so glad you're here and you're joining us. Just catching the tail end, I had 3 cards that wanted to be read today. This is the last one. Yeah, the scary part, I know. I'm trying to even remember where I started on that. It was just honestly just diving into it. And you know, YouTube videos, WordPress videos, how to do that. If you want, you can send me a message and I can look at my WordPress. Because there's little things that you need, simple things and Jetpack and just little stuff like that. It doesn't need to be as hard and scary. Finding a theme that you like that resonates for you. The way you kind of envision it. Keep me posted. Let me know if you need help. Yeah, WordPress is the way to go. It's simple. It's not. They've made it easier and easier, so it's not like you're getting into the HTML stuff, right? No, that's not me either. So, is there anyone here who needs some deep replenishing time? I know I do. This world of go, 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 constantly needing to do things. What if the thing that we really need to do is to rest, right? Obviously, Spirit seems to think that in addition to answering the call and being a priestess for others, it's really important that we take this time to rest, because our self-care is everything. We can't show up for others. We can't follow our soul's calling if we're burnt out. So make sure, time for this. The most selfless thing you can do is fill up your own inner well. I would love to know too, if you want to share, what are the things that you do to fill up your inner well? What kind of both rests you and also what lights your fire, because sometimes it's our passions and our creativity that is actually self-care. Right, Jennifer, self-care needs to be a priority. You're going to be enough for your kids who need that extra support, right? And this is when it would be really helpful if we had more support as parents, like more of a tribe, people coming in and saying, hey, let me play with the toddler with the nonstop energy. Why don't you just go lay down? Or just go take a nap. Go take a shower, right? Just tiny things. Or I'll watch them so you could make dinner without being pulled in 1,000 directions. It would be really helpful if it was sometimes more than just one or two of us who's in that, right? Both for children, right? And our aging elders. Look at that. It kind of went back full circle, right? How we need that extra support. When we are running around half filled, we subconsciously look to things and people around us to give us the nourishment and nurturing that we so deeply crave. Nothing can grow in barren lands. You are no good to anyone if you're running on empty. The feminine is bountiful, fertile, and rich. Tend to your own inner well and watch as the amount you have to give multiplies. If your inner well isn't full, you will find yourself craving things from the outside world to fill it. This is our body's instinctive way of reaching for the grounding and nurturing that we are not allowing ourselves. What nourishes you? What refills your body? What is nectar for your soul? What brings you back to life? Look at that. What's your creativity? What's your passion? What is your secret medicine? What makes you feel abundant and fertile, overspilling with life? Maybe gardening, arranging flowers, getting massage, essential oils, snuggling up on the couch, hiking, sipping a good coffee at your favorite cafe, attending a women's circle, reading about sacred sites, spontaneous bike rides, walking along the beach, or yoga. What nourishes you is your medicine. When you give yourself the medicine that you need to be nourished, you nourish all those around you, for there is more than enough to go around. So, your call to action for today is to do something that deeply nourishes you. So what's that going to be for you? I actually think that this is very nourishing for me, for coming on and sharing my story. Even though it's super scary when I get going and I'm really nervous and all the worries about judgment and opinions, and yet now here I am, and I feel more full, connecting with you, sharing a bit of my story and hearing yours. Like we're missing that in our life in general. And it's actually a really great journal prompt. I think I'm going to go in the group and post that with this card and ask everyone, what are you going to do today that's going to nourish your soul? Anyway, I really hope you do. I really hope you take the time to answer whatever it is that's calling to you in your soul. To step up and to be a leader for others. Maybe even just leading yourself. We can always priestess ourselves. And that always, always, always take time for you. It's certainly something that as a parent is really important, essential, and yet it's often, at least I can say from my standing as a mother, as a woman, again, that could be different for everyone. That's usually the last thing I give myself. It's kind of like the last thing it seems culturally acceptable for me to do is to say, hey, I'm going to come out here, I'm going to go on video and do my thing. I'm going to go take care of me. And then I'm going to go and surprise my mother with this apple strudel gift from me and Grandma. Right? Anyway, thank you all so much for being with me and just kind of sharing this space with me. Again, please join the Intuitive Parent Evolution group if you would like. Share this video, share this message, share the group, whatever works for you. It's someone in your life who has kids or wants to be a kid, or it's really for everyone. Thank you, Daphne. Thank you for being here. I love your light. I love hanging out with you, buying crystals, mostly minerals. Jennifer, thank you. Thank you for connecting, and thank you for having part of this conversation with me. It really helps me not feel so alone. I'm just going to stand up here and talk to myself. So you help so much. Thank you. Thank you, Candy. I'm going to surprise Mom. I'm going to take pictures, and I'll tell you all about it. So thank you all so much. Again, please share this message. Please join the group. I would love to work with you or just have some conversations with you all. All right? Have a great rest of your day. Enjoy this week ahead. We are entering the Lion's Gate. Daphne, please be safe. I'm totally fine. You're driving. You be safe. It's all good. But again, we are entering the Lion's Gate portal. Really big, magical time. If you're into that thing, if not, don't worry about it. But this is a wonderful time to start dreaming big. Start setting up your intentions and what you want to call in to your life. Just massive abundance. It's there for you. Totally there for you. All right. Have a great rest of your day and week. And you're going to be seeing more of me because I'm going to keep popping on and having conversations and seeing where we go. All right, take care. Bye-bye.